I'm Pastor George Borghardt, and this is another Higher Things video short. Merry Christmas! Homo Factus Est. That's the subject of today's Higher Things video short. Our hearts and our minds are focused on the Christmas gospel. God is becoming flesh right before us. In the gospel, we're experiencing it. We're receiving it in, with, and under his body and blood given for us to eat and drink. Christ's Mass is about to occur. The Mass, the divine service of Jesus. And we're not just keeping Christ in Christmas, we're also keeping the Mass in Christmas, the divine service. Mass here is not a Roman Catholic word, or not the horror of the Mass, but the Deutsche Messe, the divine service, perfectly Lutheran. So we're doing both in the next few days, receiving Jesus in the Christ Mass, and also celebrating something else, which is the Homo Factus Est. Every Sunday you say in the Creed, and he became man. And you celebrate Christmas. And you may not even know that you're celebrating Christmas, but you do it. It's the miracle of the mystery of and the revelation of the incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ. To think that God has taken on all that is us, to redeem all that is us, to save all that is us from what we've done. He becomes man to live as we should live, to suffer as we deserve to suffer, and to die in our place, to raise again from the dead, or to be raised from the dead on Easter, so that we would rise from the dead, to conquer death and sin, to give us life eternal. And we confess all of this every Sunday in the words, and he became man, or the Latin, Homo Factus Est. Now, when you hear homo, you think of, well, what Phil Robinson got himself in trouble for lately, but this is simply homo, as in man, factus est, he became man. And this miracle, this mystery, this universe-changing event has always caused the church to stop and to drop to a knee, to genuflect before the glory of Christ in the manger. For without Jesus taking on our flesh, we would be lost. Without Jesus becoming one of us, there would be no one to save us from what we've done, being us, Adam, and in our actual sins. And so the church dared to confess this with their bodies by dropping to a knee at the words, and he became man. Now, this is not to put a law on you, like to say, hey, you have to drop to a knee if you're going to be a Lutheran, but it is to say, what a better way to celebrate Christmas than to stop at those words, drop to a knee in the pew, and celebrate with your body the very miracle of the incarnation. And as pastors, Christmas is a great time to introduce, in Christian freedom, the Lutheran practice of genuflecting. Now, some Lutherans in historically genuflected, some didn't, and so we sort of dare to be Lutheran by being free. But at the words, and he became man, at Luther's time, everyone would drop to a knee or take off their hat. They would do the same thing in the words of institution. After, this is my body, do this in remembrance of me, and this is my blood of the New Testament, shed for you for the forgiveness of sins. This do as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. They would drop to a knee as their bodies worshipped the Christ whose incarnation is received in his body and blood. And as pastors, we can introduce this because, well, what better way? What better time? Now is the time in which we are ready to drop to one knee with the wise men, even though that happens at Epiphany, but to come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. And so we're just simply practicing for heaven, where every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess Jesus is Lord, to the glory of the Father. But if you don't feel comfortable doing a full drop to a knee, you can always bow at the waist and go all the way down, sort of reminiscent of when the soldiers mocked Jesus on Good Friday. They mocked him by bowing to him and worshiping him as the Christ. But you can do that with your body, either by knee or bow. And remember the miracle of the incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ. But remember, whether you bow or not bow, whether you drop to a knee or don't drop to a knee, the greatest way of celebrating Christmas is faith. Receiving Jesus, found not in manger or cross, but on the altar. Jesus comes to you this Christmas in his Mass, in his divine service, where he gives to you his body and his blood, the body and blood of the one born of Mary, to lift you up and to save you, even you. A merry and blessed bended knee Christmas to you. I'm Pastor George Borghardt, and this has been another Higher Things video short.